Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwide. Hey, Greg.
Hello, everyone. We're really glad you're here today.
So excited to have you here. Today, we're talking about how to improve deliverability of your email and text messages, whether those are going out to your lists of leads or to your customers and clients. As you're coming in, let us know where in the world you are and what you're hoping to learn today. We're always thrilled to learn more about folks who show up here. We find that we have been attracting just some really inspiring and awesome people from all over the world, and we're always curious about the work that you do. So go ahead, head over into the chat, let us know where you're at and what you do. And of course, if you would like to join our community in greater depth, please make sure you join our Facebook group. We've got an incredible community there where our team is as well. It's a great place to get inspired, get ideas, and of course, to help find support along the way with what you're doing. Of course, this is another place that you can get that done. We do have two folks who signed up for a live work review today. We'll be working together after we get through today's teaching content. And by the way, this is a session that we host every week at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and it's designed for us to work together live. You will learn something new every week. Like this week, we're going to be talking about using AI to improve your deliverability, but we also have wide open space here for you to ask other questions that you may have as well. This is really intended to be a space for you to come and get your questions answered, to work together, to even work, live so you can see it happening if you're a visual person. So if that's something that you're looking for, please make sure you head over to the Q&A. We've got Charlotte, we've got Illinois, we've got spiritual direction, and Robert's here from Washington, Maryland, sales and leadership development, real estate school, publishing courses. Fantastic. This is exciting stuff, you guys. Thanks for being here. Keep it coming. Let's go ahead and get into today's content. We're going to pop out a video and come back to join you after we complete our slides here. So for those of you who don't know this yet, obviously ChatGPT is something that has taken off in the public mind in the last few months. If you haven't heard of it, you have surely been taking a blissful break from the plugged in world, but welcome back. We have AI in our lives now, and you have AI in AttractWell. And we're going to talk today about how you can use the built-in AI feature to improve your email and text deliverability, open rates, and click-throughs, engagements in your content that you send. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to be talking about improving your deliverability via text and email that you send through AttractWell. And we will talk about how you can use our built-in AI feature to make these things flow much more easily for you. And of course, as always, live help and Q&A. Being an all-in-one platform, there's a lot of things that you can use us for, and this is one of those opportunities that you can learn how to put things to use in your own business. If you have questions, please make sure you add those to the Q&A so that we can help you with that. Now, if you want to work together live, as two people have actually set aside dedicated time to do on today's call, you can go to attractwell.com/work review, fill out the form there, and then select a future Thursday at 2 p.m. time slot for us to sit down and work together on whatever it is that you have going on in your business. Whether you are planning on launching something new, you want to tweak something you've been working on, or if you're just getting started and you want to figure out where your feet go first, let us know. You can sign up here and we can work together on a call just like this one. And if you wind up watching this as a replay and you'd like to join us on one of these calls live on Zoom, you can go to attractwell.com/office hours to be on the list and get our notifications and invitations to join our Zoom. And then finally, if you're in the process of getting all the things done and you just realize that you'd like some more hands, you want somebody to do some of this for you, you can go to attractwell.com/concierge, learn more about our team and what they can do to help you get things done more quickly in your AttractWell system. Now, you work hard to get your messages written, to build the campaigns, the automations, the content, just to get the things done in your business that need to get done. And the last thing that we want to see is your hard work not landing where it's supposed to be, i.e. in the promotions folder, the spam box, or worse, not even sent. So there's a lot of nuance in the world of email and text deliverability and engagement, things like influence, learning about how to increase your open rates and your click-through rates. Honestly, this is not an exact science. And anyone who tells you it is absolutely lying to you. This is something that is going to depend on you, your brand, your voice. It's something you're going to develop expertise of over time. but you got to start somewhere, right? And some of us, it depends on kind of how you're programmed, right? I don't know. Maybe let us know in the chat, which one of these are you? Or are you somewhere in between? Are you a shoot first, ask questions later? I'm going to mess up and I'm okay with messing up. I'm going to learn from it. Or are you someone who will withhold until a degree of perfection is achieved, i.e. things don't get done because I don't think they're perfect enough to release? Maybe sometimes you are both. So the cool thing is that you don't have to let either of these things hold you back. Robert here's a recovering perfectionist. I hear you. So you don't have to let these things hold you back, because you don't have to make yourself an expert, right? Unless you've actually set out to become a marketing guru in your career, if that's a part of your field of expertise, becoming an expert in these things is probably not on your to-do list. You don't need to be an expert in these things. But how do we go about finding the middle ground, right? How do we go about making sure that we actually are effective in the work that we're doing without having to learn an entirely new discipline? Well, if you follow a couple of key steps that I'm going to outline for you, you can leave most of the rest of this to AI to work out. So here are the things that you're going to need to do first. These are very important, okay? First, you want to make sure you have your own domain name on your website. Obviously, most of you guys already know this, right? I think majority of us know this. When you sign up for AttractWell, you do have essentially sort of like a replicated site that you can be using right out of the gate. So it's attractwell.com/whatever the name is that you chose. But before you really start sending out emails, you want to make sure that you have your own domain name attached, right? So set up your domain name and attach it to your AttractWell, and get an email address on your domain, right? If you want good deliverability, you don't want to be sending from a Gmail, a Yahoo, etc. Make sure you've got an email address on your own domain, and our team can help you get these things done. And then when our team is helping you get these things done, they can go ahead and set up a custom email server for you so that you own your reputation, your sending reputation, and they can even work a little bit of magic on the back end for you to improve your deliverability. It's not something that we charge for. It's a complimentary thing, takes a couple of seconds, and our team can do it for you. All right. So reach out to our team if you haven't done so already. Let them know that you want to get a custom email address set up on your domain. That's something that you can get through us, and that you would like to set up a custom email server and improve your deliverability, and they'll know what to do. Finally, you want to make sure that your contact information is correct on your website. I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. And then don't forget to set up your own phone number with two-way texting. Almost all of the AttractWell plans include this feature. So go ahead and make sure you've got this set up if you intend to use text marketing. You can send text messages from the general AttractWell number. That is something that you are capable of doing. But again, this is all about improving deliverability, increasing your authority and the trust that the email servers have with you and the text servers have with you. And you're going to want to make sure that you've got your own stuff here. That's kind of that's what we're doing here. We are establishing to the email servers that we are who we are, and we're doing that in the strongest way possible. So get all your own stuff and make sure that this is all buttoned up. And then, well, first, let's talk about this. If you want to make some changes to the information that's on your website, you can click your name up in the top right-hand corner when you're logged into AttractWell. Do please make sure that you've got your name here. There are some instances where you might think it makes sense to use a business name as opposed to your name, but it's definitely better for you to use your name as often as possible. There's two reasons for this. Number one, it is actually something that is better for your sending reputation, is that you're sending from a name and not a faceless entity, but also psychologically, and I think this is even more important for building up the open rate and the engagement rate with your content that the servers need to see to deem you as credible. People who receive messages from you are going to be more likely to open messages that are from a person as opposed to a business. Isn't that true for you? You scan through who sent you stuff, and your eyes probably go to names that you know, not names of businesses, right? So follow that same thinking here and be a person who's sending as a person. Just a quick side note, you can change that here by clicking your name. Just while we're here, if you do set up your own phone number through AttractWell, put that here as your website phone number. Do make sure that you have a street address that is correct here. If you don't want to use a personal one, of course, you could get yourself a virtual business address, but a lot of I think basically every locality that you can email from in the world requires that you have this available both on your website and in your email. Okay. And this is a good comment here, Kayla. Yours shows up as your business name and your name. That's also okay, I think, just so long that they see a human name. It's important. I think it's definitely more beneficial, I think, for it to just be your name. But there's not, I think that that's okay. It's a nice middle ground there to have both. All right, so if you want to set up your two-way texting, you can click chat. It's right next to your name. If you haven't set up your number yet, then you can click here on OK, click get started, and you can select the phone number that you want for your business on your AttractWell account. If you have an existing number that you've been using, perhaps from another, like a texting platform or even from Google Voice, you can port that over to use at AttractWell if you'd like. You just need to reach out to our team. Now, there are a few best practices that I want to encourage you to begin to keep and hold, right? These are things that you want to make sure that you're aware of ongoing, and they will serve you long term. You will have some of this echoed in AI if you ask it to give you some guidelines and recommendations, but these are going to be important things for you to know. You don't need to know all the nuances. You don't need to know everything where it comes to deliverability and influence, but these are things that you should know. Number one, maintain a clean list. Make sure that your list is only people who have said yes, right? Anybody that you're going to be emailing or texting in bulk needs to be people who said yes to getting that thing from you, right? And then even better, segment those lists of interest. So maybe you've got your folks who are interested in one part of your business, another who are in another part, maybe leads of a certain category, clients of a certain category, etc. Make sure that you're using tags to keep those parts of your list separated so that you can be communicating with them effectively and sending only the most relevant information to those people who said yes to those types of things. Next, be careful with the language that you use. A lot of language will trigger spam filters. So the things that might sound salesy or pushy are going to be obvious. Buy now, on sale, do this now, right? Those types of things. Anything that's lots of caps and exclamations, right? There are some great articles that you can find, just general ones out there if you Google like spam trigger words and see sort of what those are. Free is a tricky one often. Just a good rule of thumb to follow is if it doesn't sound like you're writing to a friend, maybe don't send, right? You want to make sure that it sounds like you're writing to somebody like a friend or a colleague. I want you to make sure that you're also using alternate text if you are including images in your emails. I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. You also want to send a preview to yourself before you broadcast so that you can see what it will look like and confirm that it is formatted the way that you'd like. And then as an added bonus here, you can send it to mail-tester.com to see your score. Simply go to this website. It's free. They'll provide instructions to you, and you can send an email that you've been composing, and it can give you some best practices and score it as well. Next, you want to make sure that, oops, sorry, I've already done this one. Sorry, there we go. Here's what it looks like to add alternative text. So you're simply going to click the image that's in your email. You're going to click this T for alternative text and then add in the alternative text. In this particular instance, this is a image signature. Now, some folks will on their phones, for instance, not have images load, maybe to preserve data. It could be for any number of reasons. And they need to see what that image is supposed to be. So make sure you have a descriptor for whatever the image is so that they know what they're missing if they don't see it. And this is also something that is going to contribute to your sending score, your sending reputation, that if you are embedding visible images inside the email, that you're being clear about what those things are supposed to represent. And then, of course, if you want to send yourself a preview, you can click Send Preview at the bottom of your email, same place where you would save a draft or actually go ahead and send it out. Now let's talk about a couple of best practices for text. A lot of the same for email will apply. But first, you want to make sure people do know that they're opting in for text. If you have a campaign that's attached to a landing page, for instance, and the campaign will send out via email or text or both, you want to make sure if you have a phone number field on that form that people know that they are, when they put their phone number in, that they're going to get text from you, right? Make sure people are clear that they're aware on what they're getting. And then make sure that you only send them what they signed up to get from you. Another thing you want to make sure that you do is in a confirmation message where you've had them use their phone number to opt in via text, make sure that the first message that they receive from you includes verbiage like reply the word stop to opt out. And if you don't if you don't text frequently, then you want to make sure that you are including this same verbiage every now and then, just to make sure that people have that option. Also important, don't use link shorteners like bit.ly. If you have a long link, AttractWell will shorten it for you. We have our own link shortening, and you don't have to worry about using that. They will actually filter and not send your texts if you use something like bit.ly. Finally, we want to make sure that we're designing the experience that we want our clients or our leads to have. And if that includes text, then we need to design that experience deliberately for text. So that means that maybe you have some campaigns that only send via email, or they only send via text, and they're designed that way. You can also set your campaigns up so that you can have email preferred or text preferred, and it could send to one or the other depending on if one doesn't work or you don't have that information from them. These are fine options. Another thing that you can do for email and text, you do have the option to create a campaign that does both. Just make sure that you are specifying in the way that those messages are set up, which message is going out via text and which message is going out via email. An example of this would be maybe designing a sequence that is going to go out, a campaign sequence that goes out for a challenge, where you'll maybe send an email broadcast out on a Sunday where you're going to give the lowdown on what happened that entire week. But then during the week, they're going to be receiving maybe Monday through Friday text messages in the morning to remind them to do a couple of steps, right? And so you can actually say, this message, the one I'm sending on Sunday, is an email, and these messages that I'm sending that are short, that I'm sending Monday through Friday, are text. So with these things out of the way, let's talk about how we can improve deliverability with AI, right? So we've got some basic things that we are learning that we do need to really kind of internalize and learn, but the rest of it, we're going to really rely on AI to figure out. So let's start with email. And the example that we'll use here is writing a campaign message that is going to go to our opt-ins immediately after they have requested the habit guide, right? So Jane has a habit guide that she offers to her leads, and we want to send out the very first message that goes out to them that shares some information, and importantly also shares the thing that they came for. All right, so this is going to be an email. So we have two options. Number one, if you've maybe already created such a resource, an email message like this, then you can actually take what you've already written and you can have AI suggest ways to improve it. You could use this to modify other existing messages that you may have. Or if this is something that's new that you're creating, you can tell AI what you need and then just have it write for you. So if you are writing the email first, or if it's already written, here are the prompts that we want to use. First, we want to start with who and what this email is for. First, we're going to say, I'm writing an email to send to my subscribers after they've opted in to receive my free guide on creating better habits. Next, we want to actually indicate that we are including the body and contents of the email. So we say, here is the email, subject line, paste, body, paste, right? Make sure you include both subject line and body, and indicate to AI that you are pasting the email. If you're using, if you're writing the email first, you're also going to tell it what you want. You're going to say, how can this message be modified to improve deliverability, open rate, and click-through rate? You can also simply ask them to modify the message to improve deliverability, open rate, and click-through rate. So what you can get, and I do want to make sure that I note this for you here, I've worded this way deliberately, because if you want to better understand how you can make these changes, if you ask, how can this message be modified, then you can get sometimes a response from the AI that will actually give you bullet points that tells you that you can do this and you could do this and you could do this if you would like to do those things yourself. But if you would rather it just write something for you that is an example of what you ought to have, you can change this prompt and say, rewrite this message to improve deliverability, open rate, and click-through rate. Okay. So it's going to look something like this. And you can see that I've written it all out here. And what they gave me is pretty good. So here you go. So you can tell it, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I've come up with. Here's what I want you to do. Let me see it. And they give it to you. Pretty good, right? Now, if you want to write, if you want AI to write the email, you're going to do the same thing as we did to start. We're going to talk about what we're doing and what it's for. So I'm writing an email to send to my subscribers after they've opted in to receive my guide on creating better habits. Then we're going to tell it to write the email. So compose the email, including subject line, optimize for deliverability, open rate, and click-through rate, and include the following. I want to have a click to download the guide that they signed up for, have them hit reply and tell me what habits they're hoping to initiate, and if there are any habits they're hoping to get rid of, and then let them know that helping people connect to simpler paths to creating the life they want is one of the things that I love most about what I do, and that I'd love to help them. So here's what I say. I tell them to do this. I tell them what I want in it, and they come up with, I think, an even better email than I started with, right? So this is pretty cool. You can actually save so much more time if you are starting from scratch. If you don't already have something that you've written, then you can actually have it come up with something for you. Now, let's move on to text here. The example here that we're going to use is that we're writing an SMS message. So SMS is just text. MMS is the other type of texting, and that's when you send like an image or a video. Right? So I'm sending an SMS message with a link to join a live call that I'm going to send to subscribers who signed up to attend a workshop. All right. So we have two options here. Again, if you have written your own message first, we can ask AI to improve it. Or if you want to tell AI what you need, you can have it write it for you. So if you're writing it first, you're going to tell them what you're doing. I'm composing an SMS message to send to my subscribers who signed up to join a live workshop. The message will share a Zoom link an hour before the call begins. Then indicate that you are including the contents of the message here. So we say, ready for our workshop, see you in an hour, and then pop the Zoom link in. Finally, tell it what you want. Rewrite this message to improve deliverability, open rate, and click-through rate. There you go. It's the prompt. And here's what we get. Perfectly good, right? You could also include here, again, if this is, if you aren't sending out texts often, you can include reply stop to opt out. But if it's most likely, if you're following the guidelines that I've shared with you here, when they opted in initially, they should receive a message that shares that information, right? So if you want AI to write the text for you, we're going to do this. Same thing, tell them who it's for and what it's for. Same thing, SMS message to share a link to join a live workshop. Then we're going to tell it to write the text and give it parameters. So now I'm going to tell it, write an SMS message, optimize for delivery, open rate, and click-through rate that reminds them about the workshop and shares the Zoom link to join at 2 p.m. Eastern. The workshop is on creating a habit journal, and the Zoom link is this. There it is. And this is even better than I wrote it the first time. There you go. If you're not sure what to say, let it say it for you. Now, let's talk about an error code. What if you get an error code? And this is something that you would get via text, and it's something that's going to show up in the past actions on your contact card. All right, so it's going to show up. You'll see past actions on a contact, and it'll say note text delivery error, and it'll have the person's phone number. And then when you click it, it'll open up and you can see an error message. Okay, now that error message, that code is coming from a company called Twilio. That is the texting provider that we have here at AttractWell. So if you go to support.twilio.com and you type in that error code, you'll find the article that describes what's happening here. All right. So in this particular case, the message was filtered. And filtered means it didn't send. And you can see some possible causes and possible solutions. Now, wouldn't it be awesome if you could just share this information with AI and say, write me a message that's not going to get filtered? Well, the cool thing is you can. So we're going to go to this link here, right, where it says, how do I prevent my Twilio messages from being filtered? We're going to copy the information here in this article so that we can share it with AI to get the result that we're looking for. Now, we do have to copy and paste these guidelines because AI cannot browse the internet or read external links, right? So we do need to copy and paste. Here's how we set up the prompt for this. So basically the gist is I did this and got error code this from Twilio. This is the message, paste the message. The error message means paste what the error message means. If you happen to see any shared guidelines that would be helpful for AI to use to reconstruct your message, copy and paste those, and then tell it what you want it to do. Here's what I did. I tried sending the following text message to a customer, but got an error message, this one, from Twilio. This is the message that I sent. The error message means I pasted this. It's a lot of text, to be fair. Based on the error message and guidelines above, this is what I would have pasted. Write a text broadcast that shares the link to the Zoom call that's about to begin that would not be blocked or filtered. So it's a little big, right? But you can see I've actually gone through and I've copied and pasted. All right. This is the information that is material for AI to know to be able to craft a better message for you. And here we go. And in this case, again, and if you read the Twilio article about this specifically, it really does want you to include the reply stop if you don't want to receive messages. It does help, I think, a lot with deliverability. So there you go. All right, so let's get into it, you guys. Let's sit down and see what kind of questions you have about this and anything else. And of course, we do want to bring out the folks who are going to be working with us live on the call here today. So again, if you have questions, bring those out. Our own brains are expanding by learning how to work with AI. Yeah, that's right, Kayla. I think it is important to practice working with AI so that you can really learn how to communicate with it better. I've made this comparison multiple times, and I think it just really bears repeating. If you've ever needed to hire someone and delegate tasks and responsibilities to them, the same way that you needed to grow as a manager or as a boss is how we need to grow in our understanding with communicating with AI. And that is to say, we want to be really clear about what it is that we want, clear about the parameters. AI doesn't really care as much about politeness, but you can say please and thank you. And then also, you just want to make sure that you're seeing the feedback that you're getting and seeing how, if you ask the question just a little differently, what's the response that you're going to get. Just make sure that you are learning with it, and you'll continually get better and better results. You've been saying thank you. I love it. Let's see. I think there had been a question here. Sending a campaign through text is, yeah, that's totally something you can do, and you can include both. I think we do have more in-depth trainings on our YouTube channel about campaigns. So definitely check those out. It responds with "you're welcome." I haven't even tried that. That's amazing. Okay, so we have 2 folks signed up for a live work review today. Ellen, are you here? I don't see you. So I'll be looking here in just a bit. But Danny, I know that you are. I think I already saw you. So if you're good to go ahead and come out and talk, and we can work through what you're working on, just raise your hand. Okay, awesome. I see you. Fantastic. Hi, Danny.
Hi, Ashley. How are you?
Good. You?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. How can we help?
Okay, so I have built out one of my courses and I was having an issue, which Pam, I had sent out a couple emails and Pam did respond last night, and I was just missing the little click link because I couldn't get the actual shopping cart loaded on the page. So I got that. But now am I able to share my screen?
I'm not sure that you would be able to, but I could
Okay.
certainly share and show.
Sure, no worries. Let me drop a link in here so you can see what I'm talking about. So I've got the links all fixed. So now it does go to a shopping cart, but now I'm seeing this weird little form at the bottom of the screen. Let me send this to you.
Okay.
And I went in, I did an incognito window. So, and then I went into the page and tried to edit, but I don't see the form at the bottom of the page.
Okay. Okay.
So
Let's go
that's
take a look.
one question.
All right, here we go.
That's it, the enroll.
Okay. So this is, are you wanting to have an on-page form or no?
No, I don't want the one at the bottom below the red box. But when I go back into my account, and I go to edit the page, I'm not seeing that form is even in there, which is weird.
Got you. Okay, well, so the form is actually in the leads section of your page. Hang on just a second. I'm not logged into your account, so I can't show you. Give me just a second.
You want to log into my account?
Yeah, well, I can show you on the back end here and share my screen.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just a moment. And I'll be able to pull that up. What is the name of that page?
It is, let me drop it in. It's called The Power of RPR.
Okay. Okay, sales page RPR.
Yep.
Checkout page.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
That's what you meant. Yeah, sales page
Yeah.
RPR.
Perfect. Okay, so this guy. Okay, so down here. Huh.
I know, right? I'm not crazy.
Okay, so we're gonna go, here's what it is. I don't know why it's showing up at the very bottom, but we're gonna go don't show, because it seems to me you're actually sending them to the vault, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, so that means that these buttons are going to the vault. Okay, great. So you did have a form on the page at some point, but what we're doing now, where we say leads, we're just gonna say don't show, and that should, let's come back over here. And now it's gone. There we go.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
One of my other questions is there too much white space vertically, do you think? Because I couldn't figure out how to adjust that.
Oh, you mean like on the sides of the page?
Yes. No, top to bottom. So underneath so you see the 3 blocks of reviews, and then there's a second block, and then there's like a 1-inch gap of white space in there.
Uh-huh.
Is that too much?
So,
and right there.
Yeah, let's go look. So you can actually kind of see how this stuff will show up like when you hover over. So this, we could take a look right here. There's kind of a big space here, but not here, right?
Right.
So yeah, like there's definitely, I think we got like a little voila. And then what we want to do on this one is give it some padding on the bottom. Do you see how it doesn't have any bottom padding, but then we can just go like that?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will help with the spacing in that regard. And then in the case of this one, you see when we're highlighting here, there's all that space above it.
Yeah.
So we want to remove some of that, right? And there's actually quite a bit of space beneath as well, it looks like. So it's better to use padding as opposed to like hitting enter
spaces.
for instance, right?
Got it.
And that way, if you wanted to, and let's just see what this looks like on the published page. See, I think we could create even a little bit more padding here. But you see, this isn't quite as huge of a space there anymore because we've kind of tightened that up a little bit. But yeah, let's add a little bit more space to the bottom. I think I didn't save the padding space there. There we go.
So that section settings panel that just popped open.
Yeah.
I was I'm not getting the scroll bar. It must just be on my window. I'll try it in a different browser, but I literally was trying to arrow down and it was taking forever. And then finally I was like, forget it. Okay.
Yeah,
but
yeah, definitely. I mean, let us know, if you're having trouble with it showing up, if it's consistent, definitely let our team know so we can investigate in case there's a problem.
I'm sure it's operator error, but and then do I have too many client reviews in there?
Yeah, let's go look.
I put 6.
No, I would actually maybe put them, move them around a bit, right? So let's look at, so if you have 2 sets of 3,
So sprinkle them.
Yeah, sprinkle them. So maybe put a section under the enroll part up here.
Okay.
Or put one, right? You don't have to have just one like this. You could have one like this, right? Like a really compelling one right underneath here, that kind of thing.
Okay. Awesome. And then while you're here, when you click on you see that the first section, it says discover what you learn. And then I've got that little shading back there. Is there a way, I couldn't find anything but the slide bar. I couldn't set an exact percentage of the shading, at 80%. So I was just kind of guessing. Is there a way to get that exact with each different one?
That is a wish list item, I think, for us.
Okay.
I don't think that's here. We're going to go to element styles and then highlight the box. Here we go. Yeah, this as of right now, and Greg, am I right about that with the opacity? We don't have a number or a numerical input for this at this point, right?
Right. I mean, it is from 0 to 100 on that little bar there, but so you could probably drag it to the end and hit down 20 times if you wanted exactly 80, but yeah, there's no number like there is on padding.
Okay.
One thing that I would do here though, in all of these is play around with, so go to the element styles and highlight the whole box. Do you see how, let's look at this real quick, how it's not really even all the way around?
Right.
So you can actually add padding to this section. So in this particular instance, I want to give it a little bit of bottom padding and maybe a little bit more left padding.
Got it.
Right. Just to kind of even it out just a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. What else?
Let's see. Okay, so now I'm going to jump over to my next questions are
sure.
So for my website right now, I have a website already existing for my school. And so for the AttractWell website, because I already have an existing site, do you think it would be better to just do I'm assuming a subdomain and say courses.encompass real estate school?
Yeah, absolutely. If you are intending to keep the other website for a period of time, then yeah, I would do AttractWell would be the subdomain. It would be programs.thatwebsite.com for sure.
Okay, perfect. I'll do that. And then I think I just have one last question. What do you suggest for the AttractWell website as far as pages? So right now it's just the About Me section. Do you I mean, it doesn't need to be a full-blown website. And I guess I'm trying to get best practices.
Yeah. So since if you're going to go with courses whatever the website is, you would want to definitely have, you'd want to have a link back to the main website, right? But then, I mean, the homepage is probably going to be courses, right? So if you have a listing of the courses, so I would maybe have, a multi-section page that has maybe an image of the course and then, copy about the course with a button. And you could have a list of those. You could even, if you have some that are in progress, right, you could have a coming soon, and then maybe those could go off to wait lists. And then you would want to make sure that in your menu bar that you have a login. Login is one of the options that sent folks to the member area who have already signed up for programs.
Okay, and then one last question, and I know I emailed Greg on this yesterday. In order to put courses on there, do you recommend the store? Does it function better?
It's really a matter of taste, I think. It depends on how you want to set up and sell. If you're wanting to kind of create a shopping cart where people can add multiple things at a time, then the store is a really good option for that. It's I think the best experience if you want people to be able to go, I want this, I want this, I want this. And to get those things all together. It's especially helpful if you sell sort of little bonusy things like, workbooks and, upsells and things like that. If your means of selling a course or program is more the expert marketer style, where you have like a webinar that goes to a sales page, et cetera, I wouldn't necessarily use a store in that case. It really it depends on what your funnel looks like, your sales funnel.
Okay, perfect. That is all the questions I had. And I just want to tell you both, I greatly appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. And I've been through some courses in the past year, some course creation platforms. So I appreciate you all and I just can't thank you enough. So have a fabulous day.
Well, thank you. Thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Oh, I always love hearing this kind of feedback. So, it looks to me like, I don't know, Ellen, if you're not here, I know you had signed up for a review, and I'm not sure if you had planned to, maybe you just wanted to have a review and I could just do it for you. But she had asked for feedback on ways to improve visibility. And then let's see, they're selling coaching services. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just pop this up, and for Ellen, she can watch this in the replay. Never mind, I don't have a website, so I guess we'll have to bring her back out. That's the website is not working. Is anyone else here who would like to have a review of your work, or if you want to talk through anything together, if you want clarification on anything that you learned about today, feel free to raise your hand and ask, and we are here to help. I will, in the meantime, also be seeing if I can find maybe the page that Ellen had intended to share so I could bring that up. But yeah, please do go ahead. Let us know. Just pop into the chat, and then we can take a look at what you want to work on together. I think I might have maybe found it. Yes. Okay. All right, Yulia, I'm going to bring you out in just a moment, but just in case Ellen wanted a review without being on live, I'm going to go ahead and walk through this real quick. So Ellen has wellness coaching. One thing that I recommend, first of all, I absolutely love this image, and I think you've done a nice job putting this pop-up in here. Love this image. I would highly recommend that you add a little bit of either a white background here, or you make it white or another color, and you just give it just enough opacity or blur to just kind of let the words pop just a little bit more on top of this image, because there are some spaces like right here, for instance, where it's a little difficult to read. This is beautiful. I love how we're coordinating the colors to the dress here. And it looks like we've got a couple of options that we are going to eventually move on to. So I think we're in the beginnings here. Table Talk is the name of a blog. This is awesome. And it's in the works. So my initial take is fantastic. I love the saturation of colors here. I think that these visually work really nicely together. I love the vibrancy of it. Just make sure that if you're using a really brightly colored or variously colored background, that you allow a little bit of space to pop right here. And so what this would look like, and I'll actually go over to your pages and show you here real quick. We're actually getting some nice feedback in the chat here as well for you, Ellen, that this is a very nice looking web page. So I want to show you what I mean if you wanted to make this modification here on this page. We're going to click here to open, and yes, this is a customized page, Carol. This is something that I believe this might have started from one of our templates inside of our page templates. So here's what I would do. I would come over here. I would go to Edit Element Styles. And in this very first section, I would hover over until we kind of highlight all of it. You see that? Click it. And I'm going to increase the background opacity. Right? Now, the text is white. Maybe we don't want this white. Maybe we want this to be a different color, in which case we click here and we select a different color. Another option that we have here is to simply blur the background a little bit, right? And that will even help to make this pop over top of the image. Another thing that you can absolutely do here in this setting, in this section setting, is to make this image parallax, which you've already done. And that's going to just make it look really nice when you're scrolling over and you've got this sort of box of text over the top. You see that? So again, you could simply blur the background like I've done here, or you could give it some opacity with a color so that this message here really pops. This is really important copy that someone's seeing as soon as they land on the page. So their ability to actually read it and process it is just paramount. So just whatever you can do to help make that happen is going to be worth the effort that you put in. So thanks for asking. Carol, I'm not sure what size image this is that they've used. My typical go-to is to use a blog banner or LinkedIn banner preset on Canva. And that tends to be really useful. All right, Yulia, if you're still available and would like to chat, please do raise that hand. I'd love to bring you out. And there you are. Hi.
Hi
How can
guys,
we help?
good to see you.
Yeah, same.
Yes, I actually was looking at this text message option, and it sounds really amazing to have as addition to my business and the way communicating with my clients, but also because I get so many text messages from different companies, like I see it could be overwhelming. So my question is, how would I bring my existing students to this new technology so I can remind them about the lesson, I can remind them about the practicing or challenges or any events that I have? I think it would be really good, but how would I integrate them like smoothly without any them being annoyed with that?
Yeah. So the way that you do this is you simply provide an invitation and you let them decide that that's what they're going to do. And so I like to do this two ways. The first way would be to create a campaign. This is a text-only campaign. And here, I'll actually go over to your campaigns and I'll create a dummy one here for you. So the first option would be to create a new campaign. This would be student reminders. Student reminders.
I actually have an idea, and please let me know if it's a good idea. I have a recital coming up this Sunday, and as a gift, I want to offer them my piano journal.
Okay.
And maybe I can invite them, say like, this is the link where you can get your piano online school, piano journal, but it will give them an invitation for the text messages. Or do you think, would it be like a good opportunity to introduce them to this option?
Yes. However, where we're talking about specific permission before, and also you wanting to avoid overwhelm, you do want to make sure that where you are getting people opted in for text, that what you're opting them in for is very clear and specific, right? So if it's for reminders, that's going to be different from someone opting in to receive a download, right? So it is a good idea and you should do it. And I'll actually show you how to do that as well. But there are two ways that I would encourage you to invite all of your students. And you want to have both. This is the first one, and this is an easy one because you can send this information out via email, written. You could tell, like when you're with your students, you could say, hey, go ahead and do this, and then they'll be opted in. But what you're going to do is you're going to set up, maybe you want to do reminders. We're going to create a campaign. We're calling it student reminders. The texting keyword will be remind me, Yulia, right? Something like that. It's going to be daily. We're going to create it. The first message that we're going to create is just going to be a confirmation. So here we go. If sent by text, this is going to be confirmation. That's not going to send to them, by the way. Here we go. It's going to say, hi, you've signed up for class reminders from me. Text stop to opt out anytime. Right? So that's just going to be, they get it right away, they're done. And we're going to go add message. So now what you're able to do, if we go to edit the campaign details, and actually if we go to our list of campaigns, you'll actually be able to see this. Let me type in student. All right, so you can see right here where it says remind me, Yulia. Once you have your AttractWell phone number set up, you can say to your student, text remind me, Yulia, all one word, to whatever the number is. They're now going to receive this first message and they're going to be tagged with remind me, Yulia. And then anytime you want to send a broadcast, a text broadcast out, all you have to do is filter your contacts for remind me, Yulia, or you could say student reminders or whatever you want to use here. They text that word in, they get the confirmation email or text that's in this campaign, and then you could filter and send messages to them as you need to. Now, if you wanted to, the other thing that you could do is if you want to send out an email, and this is going to work if you already have a phone number for them. Do you tend to always have a phone number for your students?
Yes, that's how I communicate with them, with the numbers.
Perfect. So then the thing that you would want to do here is you could go to your automations and you could create an automation, and this will be to add them to your text list from email. So you already have a bunch of these here, but basically what you would do is you would go to, you would change this to add to text reminders from email, right? And then what you would do is you would add the tag text reminders, you would add that campaign, right? And then you would send them to a confirmation page under advanced options. And so you could then provide this link in an email, and they could also just click from email to opt into text. So those are the two options. The easiest one is just to say text remind me, Yulia, to whatever your AttractWell phone number is, and then people can do it themselves. But if you are sending an email invitation out, they can just click and they can opt themselves in this way as well. And then finally, for the if you wanted to do a text to give away the journal, you would set up the campaign really similar to the student reminders one, except what you would do here is you would go to, here we go to our campaign details. We would name it differently, of course. You would use a different keyword. And then finally, in this message, you would write out what you write, and then you would paste in the link for them to download the PDF. And so this would go to them via text after they send that text message.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
excited
a good option to have. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let me see. There were some questions here in the chat if I can get to them. Carol, I'm not sure if that image was in Canva already or if it's something that she used elsewhere. But Canva does, especially if you have Canva Pro, that's a great place to go. We have a shortcuts. What is it? Tech tips and tricks. Look for our tech tips and tricks video. We actually have, there's a bunch of free resources that you can use for royalty-free images that you can use on your website if you're not using Canva. I think 2240 by 1260. I think I've used it enough, and I know that it's a huge, huge image. It needs to be able to work on a monster-sized computer like the one that I have, as well as a nice little phone. Let's see. Yeah, in terms of the area code, Robert, unless you are like, if you are like serving local business, it could be a good idea to have a local area code. But for a lot of us, if we serve globally, it's not really such a big deal what your area code is for the phone number that you use with AttractWell. It is often really cool to have a number that spells something or says something. So definitely consider that when you're setting it up, have some fun with it. Yeah. Does anybody else have questions before we get going? Really great, great questions here today. I hope that this is really helpful for you and helped you understand kind of how to get started with this stuff. Yulia, I'm excited for you to get your students onto those reminders. I think that text reminders for appointments are such a valuable thing to use. Just make sure that you're getting that specific permission for each type of thing. Just like you would have somebody maybe opt to download a free thing for you on your website, that doesn't necessarily mean that they want to get every blog update that you send out if you're doing that weekly, for instance. The same thing is going to go for text. Just make sure that you're getting that permission. Quality over quantity in terms of how you build your list. It's better to have fewer people who have said yes than for you to send more stuff to people who didn't ask for it, because you impact your send reputation negatively that way. And you really want to build a good reputation with these providers so that they trust you and they would prefer to put you directly into the inbox, not the promotions or the spam folder when you send messages to people. Thank you guys so much for being here today and taking this time. We'll be back next week where you get to meet several of the amazing folks on our concierge team. So I hope you'll join us for that. And until then, have a great week, everybody. Take care.